Okay, mahalo everyone. Aloha. Aloha. Hey, right on. Thank you. Kind of mind losing my voice. All right. So we're moving now. So my presentation, again, my name is Cheyenne Hiapo. I'm with the Mauna Watershed Alliance. My presentation is called Koa Mo'o lelo. And what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the concept of Koa, Mo'o, and lelo. Then at the end of this, we're going to talk about that one Mo'o lelo from Oahu. So as you can see, the main thing that Koa was, the relationship with Koa has always been the wa'a. The wa'a is the chief relationship. Okay. I'm sure everybody knows this already, so we're just going to kind of review. So Koa, what is the definition of Koa? Koa means to be brave, bold, or fearless. It's often associated with warriors, soldiers, and fighters. There's even word magic. When young men were going to go off to war, their family would start to call them Koa, because in your heart, you begin to believe you're a Koa, and it'll help you in battle. Oh, but be careful. Koa, that's arrogant. That's too much Koa. So whenever you guys are out there and you're talking about Koa, be brave, be bold, be fearless, but not too much. So how do you figure out that? This comes with time, yeah. And then you can see right there, we got that's the champion Koa tree for this island. That's found on the TNC in South Kona. Big, yeah. So the word mo'o and lelo. So the words together, mo'o and lelo, mean story, tale, or tradition. But if you break the words down into their separate sounds, mo'o means lizard. So a lot of times everybody's like, what is that lizard? Lelo means tongue, yeah? Lizard tongue, what does that have to do with anything? How is that a story? Actually, mo'o also means succession. So if you look at the forest up on the top right, that's a kipuka, yeah? So mo'o is happening in front of us every day. So when we have a new lava flow, that is the beginning of that mo'o for that place. It also means a strip of land or ridge or brindled. Sometimes you guys will see brindled dogs. That's also called a mo'o dog. And lelo is tongue. Yeah, so mo'o lelo. So I got some words here. We're going to do a little exercise. So understanding that mo'o means succession. Mo'o meheyu means footprint. Can anybody tell me what that means? Succession of footprints. Sort of. Culture. Mo'o mehu. So to practice your culture, you have to find those footsteps, if they've ended, find those footsteps, get in them, and then continue forward. Because like anything else, cultures, they evolve. What about mo'o puna? Puna means spring. Anybody? Progeny, yeah. So that's your grandchildren. So that's the succession of spring. So those kids came from your spring, yeah? Your vai. Kuna mo'o means freshwater eel. That is actually a mo'o. That's a lizard. So kind of tricky guys. So the kuna mo'o is actually the mo'o that fought Maui in the Wailuku River, and that story. Yeah. And then we got mo'o kuauhau. Haven't figured this one out yet. This word and these sounds. But so this is homework for later. The words together mean genealogy. Okay, and you see that mo'o painting there? Mo'os are really interesting. They said if you give them ava, they'll roll right over. They'll be like puppy dogs. Core relationships. So we got the wa'a, surfboards, and these are our traditional relationships, medicines, barks, and especially in the hula. There's a famous olelo no eau, so olelo, yeah, of the tongue. Poetical saying, no eau. Ka'ulu koa I kai o One'awa. Does anybody know where One'awa is? One'awa Beach in Kailua, on Oahu. So this comes from the legend of Hiaka, and basically what it means is the koa grove at sea. So you can imagine looking out across the bay, and all you see is koa canoes coming. That is the koa grove at sea. Yeah. Isn't that beautiful? So this Koa Mo'o lelo we're going to talk about from the context of the wa'a, the canoe or the trench. So let's think about the koa. What's up with koa? Yeah? Koa, when he's alive and he's up there and he's up on the mountain, he is shaped by the fierce winds of the mountains. As he becomes a wa'a, he's beaten by overwhelming waves. The Pacific Ocean. rode over sandy beaches, smashed against coral lava reefs, and then at the very end of his journey, he lay worn and conquered in the halau. Yeah. So what is the kauna? What is the hidden meaning of a koa? What is the life of a koa? A koa is ready to meet the roughest life. It's a hard life, but it's a good life. Yeah. So here's our story. So the story takes place in Nu'uanu, right there on Oahu. And it has to do with a chief called Kanai Akeakua, who was a chief who resided near Ko. Anybody know what Ko is or where Ko is? Ko is actually what Honolulu used to be called. So Ko, yeah, K-O-U. Nu'uanu Valley. Nu'uanu, it means the cool height at the top of Nu'uanu Valley. Oh, you're doing it. Thank you. I was like, I haven't been pressing the button. They've been on the first slide the whole time. Nu'uanu Valley means the cool height and good koa trees all the way at the top. But guess what? Guarded by mo'o, right? By lizards and dragons. And e'epa. E'epa are a form of gnome, like a gnome-like creature. So yeah, so up in the forest is a little bit dangerous, yeah. But Kahanai Akeakua, he really wanted a koa canoe from up in Nu'uanu Valley, so he sent his priests up. And there was a mo'o who, he was kind of curious what was going on. And so he watched them start to cut the koa tree down. So what the mo'o does is he sends winds and black clouds and all these omens. This is a bad idea, do not do this. But the priests kept on doing it. They cut it down and they roughed out the va'a, and then they began to pull it down Nu'uanu Valley. And as they did that, the log became stuck. They're like, what are we gonna do? So the priest decided, this is clever. We're gonna roll that va'a out to the stream, and the stream water is gonna pull the va'a down, and then the mo'o is gonna trip up on all the pebbles. So no problem, we got that mo'o beat. They bring him down to the stream and they start to pull the va'a, the roughed out va'a, down along the stream. So the mo'o, he's a smart mo'o, he lets go. He says, okay. So what he does is he gets in front of them and he stops up the springs. Stops up the springs and he turns all the streams dry. Certain streams, can't get it down. Like, And then he goes back up and he holds the va'a again. Finally, they end up, it's a battle all day, getting into the nighttime. Finally, they get to a place called Kaho'okane, which is a place of sharp turns, steep banks, and great stones. At this place, the mo'o said, this is it. And he wedges that va'a tight against the rocks. All of a sudden, the priests realize this is not going to happen. So the priests give up, and they go back to Kahanai Akeakua. They tell him, we can't do it. And that is in the end of the story. There is now a place at that place called the Canoe of the Dragon God, which is actually a petrified, what's a stone. But it is that va'a that came down that stream. I was thinking about this mo'o lelo, and I was thinking, man, that's depressing, poor chief, right? And then in the back of my mind, I started thinking about it, and then it was just like, well, let's look at it from the mo'o's point of view, right? We win, yay, right? So sometimes in what I get from this mo'o lelo is it's just a matter of perception. Sometimes you'll hit challenges or whatnot, and it's just a matter of changing the way you look at it. It's that easy. And if you can change the way you look at it, then you can really solve that problem. But this is a reminder. So if you guys are ever over there and you guys are at Kaho'okane, then take a look and see if you can find that canoe. And finally, this is it. Final parting words. Eola koa, right? Live like a koa tree. Yeah? Be strong, be brave, and be ready. Oh, this is actually for the closing, that part, that last one. Okay, so mahalo, thank you guys for having me, and I guess we'll have the next speaker. Thank you.